Good morning, Year 4, and this is your Thursday English session. Today we're going to have a bit of a swap around of lessons because the last 3 days we've been thinking about past text, WAGOLL 4. We've been thinking about suspense and tension and how to create that and how authors create that within their stories. Now, what's going to happen, we're going to use that information in a couple of weeks' time when we write our narrative. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a swap around now, and we're going to be switching our geography brains on, thinking about all the learning that Miss Noak has been teaching us on Monday and Tuesday about geography and about tectonic plates, and we're going to write a newspaper report based on all of that information. Now, I just share my screen with you. Open here. There we go. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be using the features of a newspaper report by retrieving old learning. Now that's because we have already done this learning before. We've already written newspaper reports. I think we've written 2 of these before in the past. So we're really good at writing these newspaper reports. It's nothing new. Okay, we're going to do that so that we can explain how and why natural disasters take place. So that is this bit here is our new learning, the knowledge of these natural disasters and our new learning. But the format that we're going to put it in, the newspaper article, is our old learning. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a new and a little bit of old. What I would like you to do is I want you to get your Boxset book out, and I want you to get your purple Boxset book open to a brand new double page spread, and I would like you to write today's date across the top left-hand corner, which is Thursday the 14th of January. Then underneath that, I would like you to write English because that is the lesson that we're going to be doing today. So can you write today's date in the top left-hand corner of your double page spread with English underneath? And I'll pop that under here for you so you can see. If you have a ruler, please do underline it. If not to worry, I'd rather you not underline if you're going to make it all squiggly. Use a ruler if you do. Okay, I don't expect you to write the what, how, and the why. Don't worry too much about that. But what I would like you to do is next to English, just write newspaper report. Okay, that's all I would like you to write. You can pause the video here whilst you write those 2 things. Okay, perfect. So once you've written that, just pop your books to one side, and we're going to go through what it is that we're going to be writing today. So, firstly, quick rewind. What are the grammatical features of a newspaper report? So like I said, we've done this before, so this is a rewind. We're getting that information from the back of our brains to the front of our brains, okay, ready for us to start our learning today. So the grammatical features of a newspaper report, we've got things like linking adverbs. Okay, adverbs that will link one sentence to another, for example, however, and meanwhile. I need to remember that linking adverbs are also followed by a comma. Okay, and the linking adverb is used when the sentence that comes next links to the information in the sentence that came before. Okay, so I could say tectonic plates cover the surface of the earth. For example, in Europe, there is a tectonic plates called the Ring of Fire. Okay, there are 2 separate sentences, but when I said, for example, the second sentence is, I've linked it to the first sentence by giving an example. Okay, we've put this on our pink cards because thinking with our rainbow grammar head on, we always write our linking adverbs on our pink cards. So that's a bit of a reminder. We also need to write our adverbial phrases. These are really important in our newspaper report because adverbial phrases tell us when, where, what, how, and why. Okay, we need to know all that information in order to understand when these events happened. So for example, I've put when tectonic plates or in the middle of. Now, adverbial phrase needs to be followed by a comma. I know I've not put a comma here, but that's because that's not the end of my adverbial phrase. That's just an example of an adverbial phrase starter. Okay, we also need to remember paragraphs, so we can sort our information in a succinct way so that the reader's not just reading it like a story. We need to remember that we're writing in third person. Third person, if I just make this nice and big for you, you can see that third person means a person that's not involved in the actual events is telling the story. You are the reporter. You are telling the events that has happened based on other people or based on what's happened around you. Okay, so you are not involved in the event that happened, but you are telling the story as the reporter or the people. So you will be thinking of words like he, she, or they. Okay, so that's third person. And then we're also going to be using formal language. And remember, formal language is how you'd speak to your teacher, how you'd speak to the Queen, how you'd speak to the head teacher. It's not using slang words like can't, shan't, ain't, in it. Okay, these are not examples of formal language, so they will not be in our text. Okay, so we're not going to be using contractions today. Okay, moving on to the structural features. So we know the grammatical features, what kind of features we need to put in there. Now, the structural features of a newspaper report, that means what does a newspaper need to include? Okay, so what's going to go on your double page spread? We have got our title and newspaper name. Okay, I think I've called mine the Wyndham Chronicle, but you can call yours whatever you like. A sensible newspaper name. Then the newspaper name has got to be nice and bold across the top of your double page spread. So please do use the whole of your double page spread to do this. Okay, we then need the byline. This is the bit here that goes in between the headline and the newspaper title. That's the bit where you give the date. Okay, it's really important that the reader knows what date this has happened on. And also your name, you as a reporter. Okay, as a reporter, you are the one writing it. So it'll be by and then your name. Then I've already mentioned it, but we've got the headline. This can be witty, it needs to be short, it needs to get straight to the point. It can be quite funny if you like. It needs to be attention grabbing, it needs to be nice, big and bold. Not quite as big and bold as the newspaper title, but it needs to be in your face. You can use alliteration here as well, so where all the letters are the same, the first letter of each word are the same, because that's more attention grabbing. Okay, we need pictures of what's happened. Okay, so people can see. Sometimes reading the words isn't just enough. Seeing the damage that has been caused by this natural disaster is going to shock people more. We're going to need an introduction, and then we're also going to need a caption. The caption goes underneath our picture to explain what the picture is showing. Okay, so now we know the structural features and we know the grammatical features of our newspaper report. We're going to start having a go at writing our newspaper report. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my plan, and what I'm going to try and get done, if the printer is working, to print these plans off, so these will go into your packs and you should all have one of these ready. Okay, so if you would like, you can either start straight writing in your books today, or you can do your plan today and you'll write tomorrow. It's up to you. We normally, when we're in school, write over those 2 days anyway. So it's up to you how much work you want to put into this today. So what I've done for you is your plan. So remember, this is a reminder, you need your title here. And you've got your byline, which needs to be your name and the date. Then here, your headline, short, snappy, and to the point. What kind of headline could you use? And then 2 sentences. In your first 2 sentences, this is your introduction. I just want to know what happened and where. So for example, if I show you my WAGOLL, remember a WAGOLL for parents, if you're listening in as well, a WAGOLL is what a good one looks like. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to have a look at one that I've already written, so you can have a go at, and you've got a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like. So here, I've got my title. So I've called mine the Wyndham Chronicle. Then my byline, I've got my date. And then I've got my name by Mrs. Tildesley. Then I've got my headline, quick causes terror. I've gone for a short, snappy sentence. Okay, now it's up to you for your introduction, which natural disaster you talk about. Now think back to the learning that Miss Noak told you about, and what's going to happen is in your packs as well, you should have, you'll have this page, which talks about the Earth, dangerous planet. It talks a little bit about earthquakes, it talks a little bit about volcanoes, and it talks a little bit about tsunami. So it's up to you which natural disaster has occurred. Okay, you will also be having this book printed off in your packs as well. So loads of information is in here. These are really good examples of non-chronological reports, okay, which can be used within your own newspaper report. So it's up to you which one you use. And actually in this book, we've even got a couple of earthquakes that have happened in certain countries and certain cities. So you could, if you want to, choose to write about one of these particular ones. Okay, that's entirely up to you. So your introduction is going to be what happened and where. So in my introduction here, I've got on the evening of Monday, the 7th of January, the people of Italy were awoken by a sudden shudder of an earthquake ripping through the country. So I've got my what's happened, I've got my where, because I've mentioned Italy, but I've also, in my very first sentence, used a fronted adverbial. I've told you exactly when. Okay, that's really important. Your first sentence of your plan, this needs to also have the when. When did it happen? Okay, so in your introduction, when did it happen? Okay, actually what I will put on there as well is a sentence starter for you on the something, and then that's going to remind you. Okay, so that's there for you as well. So on the something, what happened and where. Then your second paragraph is going to give a little bit more detail. So you're going to take it from the local people's perspective. What did they hear? What did they see? What did they feel? Okay, this will need to include an adverbial phrase, positives and adjectives. Now, for example, I'll show you mine. So I'm going to remember we're talking about the, oh, hang on, let me just move that up. We're talking about what did they see, hear, and what did it look like? So here, I've mentioned in my first paragraph about an earthquake happening. Now I'm going to give a bit more information. The earthquake, that lasted about 5 minutes, caused considerable damage to the city of Rome. Here I've got my example of a positive. That lasted for about 5 minutes. It's giving me more detail about this earthquake. Okay, and again, it's telling me more specifically when, where. I've talked about Italy here, but now I've given you the city of Rome. The locals described hearing a rumbling sound as the ground beneath them began to shake violently. Okay, so now I've given some information about how they are feeling and what did they hear. So here in your first paragraph, it doesn't need to be a really long one, it just needs to talk a little bit more about what happened and the local people, what did they see or what did they hear. Then I've moved on to my third paragraph. Now my second paragraph, sorry, my first one is my introduction. My second paragraph, then I'm going to use all of that geography knowledge to talk about how do natural disasters happen. Okay, this is where I'm going to include the information about tectonic plates. So here I've talked about earthquakes are a type of natural disaster that are caused by the movement of tectonic plates. The Earth is covered with tectonic plates that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. However, there are areas where two different plates meet, and this can cause natural disasters like earthquakes. So here I've got my example of a linking adverb because I've given some information here and then added to that in my next sentence. So I've used a linking adverb for an example. Okay. Now, if I just zoom out here, you can see it's actually quite a short piece. I've done mine over one piece of A4. You're going to do yours over a double page spread, so you could go into a lot more detail than mine. Okay, and I've included two pictures. So my first picture is just showing the damage that an earthquake can cause. My second picture is showing more information about those tectonic plates. So I've got the names of the tectonic plates here as well. Okay, so thinking of all that information and popping it all to, oh, made it really too small here, and putting it all together. Okay, please do use this plan to help you. Okay, and like I said, this video today, if I just go back to here, this video today is talking about the right. So the right can take today and tomorrow. Okay, so please do rewatch this video for tomorrow, because what's going to happen is you could use your plan and start putting together those pieces, getting all that information from these books. And then I would like your headline, your byline, your introduction, and your first paragraph written today. Okay? And then tomorrow, you can do your paragraph 2, more information about those natural disasters. Okay? And that is it from me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Okay, that's it from me for today's lesson. I'm going to do a very short video for tomorrow for you. Okay, just to recap, but please do take your time. This is obviously going into your Boxset books, which are coming back into school. Okay, so it'd be really nice to see how neat and how brilliant you can get this. Okay, cannot wait to see you soon. And that's it from me.